This is Spiritual Anarchist here. I want to welcome you to the Pantheist experience. This is the first attempt at broadcasting. Actually, not my first attempt at broadcasting. I actually broadcast on you now many times in the past. But this is my first attempt to create a video for YouTube. So, we're going to see how this works. After joining the atheist community using Discord, I found that there is big demand for an understanding of what pantheism is and if it's even compatible with the atheist viewpoint. So the question is, of course, as an atheist, is there such thing as a spiritual atheist, or somebody who has ideas, thoughts, concepts that they accept that have to do with God? Alright, so now for the simple definition of pantheism. And I do want to be clear that I know nothing and I believe even less. So when people want to know what I believe or what my beliefs are about pantheism, it's kind of frustrating because I am an atheist like you. If you're listening to this video and you're an atheist and that's why you came to my screen, that's why you can watch YouTube. So I just want to be really clear that I don't have beliefs either. So now that that's out of the way, let's just try and get real quick to why somebody would say that they're an atheist, but that they are also a pantheist, which just means that you're without any form of theism or religious belief, but you have had direct experience and feel that you have acquired knowledge that can be related to something that's called God. So what it comes down to is this. I think that the source of what we call this universe is something that we could legitimately call God. Legitimately means not that it is necessarily aligned with anything that any theist has ever said, any personal invisible man in the sky, but if there is awareness that is the source that all that there is, if awareness is the underlying phenomenon at the source of all reality, then we could legitimately... Okay, so please excuse my poor editing skills here. I'm just starting this, so this is new to me. So what I was saying before is if awareness is the underlying phenomena at the source of all reality and all levels of reality, then that is something we could legitimately call God. So that means, since that doesn't really coincide with what most people think of as God, you can still also legitimately call yourself an atheist because you're without any religious concept of God. Okay, so please excuse my poor editing skills here. I'm just starting this, so this is new to me. So what I was saying before is if awareness is the underlying phenomena at the source of all reality and all levels of reality, then that is something we could legitimately call God. So that means, since that doesn't really coincide with what most people think of as God, you can still also legitimately call yourself an atheist because you're without any religious concept of God. Alright, so finally I want to make clear that I know nothing and I believe even less. So what that basically means is I start with Socrates, that there's no way to have absolute certainty that our knowledge, will never be revised or updated. So I actually got to my pantheism through atheism, through giving up beliefs, through giving up concepts. I highly encourage any of my listeners to listen to the latest episode of the Atheist Experience, where Matt Dillahunty actually contradicts himself in a way by saying that we are like computers, and if he were to drop dead in the studio right there, it would be no different than a computer breaking down and not being able to boot back up, and death is final. And in the same conversation, he was actually asking the question of what happens after he goes to sleep and wakes up the next morning and he's still there. For me, it's actually a question on what happens when you go to sleep and cease to have consciousness. Who is it that wakes up the next morning? Because if you're going to say that you're actually your brain, then in reality you die every single day. And then your brain reboots and creates a new self based on your memories. Why is this so much easier to accept than something else might be going on? And can you actually explain what awareness is? Because if you can't, then we're right back where we started. It's okay to say that you do not know, But if you're going to claim that you're seeking knowledge of reality, it is not okay to ignore the fundamental questions of our existence. You can't say that you don't know whenever a philosophical question becomes too deep on consciousness, and at the same time make the claim that there's no hard problem of consciousness. Alright, I want to apologize for the length of this video, but this is a very deep discussion or topic to be getting into in such a short video, and I know this video might have actually been longer than you expected. But I just want to make clear that I do not have beliefs, and just as science can't work its way from preconceived conclusions to the evidence that will support what they already believe, philosophy must work on the same principles. Although Stephen Hawking said that philosophy is dead because it has not managed to keep up with physics, I would contend that he got it backwards, and it's actually physics just started to catch up to philosophy. So in conclusion, I'd like to point out that Richard Dawkins has famously noted that while it had always been possible to reject theology, Darwin made it possible to be an intellectually fulfilled atheist. And I'd like to add that Einstein made it possible to be an intellectually fulfilled pantheist. I hope you enjoyed my video. I can add a lot more if you want a part 2, but you're going to have to tell me what you want. Because like I said, this is a very deep subject. Alright, I want to apologize for the length of this video, but this is a very deep discussion or topic to be getting into in such a short video, and I know this video might have actually been longer than you expected. But I just want to make clear that I do not have beliefs, and just as science can't work its way from preconceived conclusions to the evidence that will support what they already believe, philosophy must work on the same principles. Although Stephen Hawking said that philosophy is dead because it has not managed to keep up with physics, I would contend that he got it backwards, and it's actually physics